Hey, welcome back to my program. I had this strange dream the other night. I dreamt that before I woke up, I dreamt that the Republicans had taken control of the House and the Senate and were basically running the government. They control the judiciary, more federal judges appointed by Republican presidents by far than Democratic presidents. You've got a Democratic president in the White House, but for Republicans, that's what I dreamt. They're now in charge. Well, I woke up and guess what? I don't think they're in charge. Look at what's happened in Washington in the past 60 days. The Republicans have been in office now for 2 months where they've controlled both the House and the Senate. They are overwhelmingly controlling what comes through the government, what the president can consider. But they seem impotent to me. Look at the only two things that have happened. We've had 2 months go by. The only thing that's being considered is the Keystone Pipeline that was talked about ad nauseum for the last year. It's an issue that if I were a member of Congress, I would vote for, but I don't think it's going to have all those great repercussions, quite frankly. It's going to create less than 4,000 permanent jobs, no matter what you read or hear otherwise, 4,000 jobs. None in my state, Louisiana. That's not a factor, although the congressmen and senators down here say, 40,000 jobs all coming to Louisiana. Hogwash. Nothing's come to Louisiana. The pipeline doesn't come near Louisiana. It's going to go from the Midwest down into refineries in Texas. The oil is going to be refined in Texas and sent out overseas. So few jobs. And quite frankly, you might make an argument that it's going to raise the price of gasoline because the oil that could be used in the United States refineries are going overseas. Having said that, it's kind of a washout. It ain't that big of a deal, in my opinion. So number one, Keystone. They pass it. The president's vetoed it. He's got a veto-proof Congress, and nothing's going to happen. Number two, we're dealing with immigration. You've seen all this controversy this week about Homeland Security. The president's saying if you don't pass the Homeland Security bill, there will be no money there to protect our borders. And to some degree, he's right. President's gone way beyond the law. He says that he has prosecutorial discretion in picking and choosing what parts of the law he wants to enforce. Well, he's not a prosecutor. That's dead wrong. And I think if the Republicans pursue this in the court, they're eventually going to win. But they've been hamstrung and look a little foolish, quite frankly, in shutting down Homeland Security. And the emphasis is in the wrong place, in my opinion. We hear all the time about ISIS. ISIS is going to take over shopping malls and take over America. And we have right concerns, solid concerns about the safety in our country of ISIS. But let's be realistic. 4 Americans have been killed by ISIS. All 4 are in Syria, over in the Middle East. None have been killed in this country, any place else, Europe, any place like that. So it's got a long way to go for this organization to cause us serious concerns. What does concern us is the immigration problem. We've got millions of illegals coming into this country, many committing crimes. There have been 1,000 times more Americans killed by illegal aliens in this country committing crimes than from what ISIS has done. And yet we kind of put that in the back burner. So rather than the Republicans coming in and vetoing, trying to cut out the money for Homeland Security, they need to revamp the entire Homeland Security law, number one. Number two, take the president to court because he's overstepped his authority, in my opinion, and do some meaningful things up there in Washington, D.C. Look, we elected you guys. I'm not going to tell you I voted, but most people said we want Republicans in charge. Okay, Republicans, you're in charge. For goodness gracious, do something. You've had 2 months. Nothing is happening in the House or the Senate. It's been a real whitewash. It's been a disaster, in my opinion. Nothing's being done. We got to change that. I'll be back and give you some solutions right after this message.